We are here in your apartment with Flaco the Owl on the TV. We were supposed to be outside.
Yeah, that would have been better.
That would have been much better.
Given the entire theme of the show.
And we were, right, dock walk. We were supposed to be walking.
Wow.
This is it.
This high-tech situation.
Is that what you would call this?
Yes, I hope the cat is, going to be providing the action that normally we get from walking around in the world.
You hear that? That's a big responsibility.
It is a lot of responsibility for you, Luna. Yeah, thank you.
We were supposed to be in Central Park bird watching.
Yes, that would have been great.
Talking about your movie and also fulfilling Keith's lifelong dream of making our podcast actually about birding instead of documentary filmmaking. But thank you so much for inviting me over. I feel so bad asking you not only to give us an hour, but then to invite us into your home. This is so invasive.
I'm not even wearing shoes, so this is perfect for me. This is very nice.
Well, good. Well, okay. Riley, cue the music, and then we'll introduce today's guest. Ding, 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 ding.
On your left.
You're listening to Doc Walks with Ben and Keith.
I'm here with Penny Lane.
Hello.
Hi, Penny.
Hi, Ben.
Thank you so much for giving us time, especially right now, because I know you're giving so much of your time to publicity to promote your new documentary, Wild Inside.
There are many seasons of a filmmaker's life, and I am in PR season.
PR season.
I'm in promo season. What's a cooler word for that? It's kind of like the harvest, if you wanted to go with like a farming metaphor, but it's not quite right. It's something else.
You're on tour.
I'm on tour, but from my living room mostly, as you can see.
Yeah, we're not touring very far from your house right now. We're actually in your house. You said harvest. Where are you from originally?
Massachusetts.
Farmlands?
No.
Are you? No.
No, like housing projects. Whatever the opposite of farmland is.
Oh, that's hilarious. So where in Massachusetts did you write?
I was born in Lynn, which if anyone listening knows, it's most known for a lovely little nursery rhyme, Lynn, Lynn, City of Sin.
You never got out
the way you came in. So
ooh,
that really is just...
that is dark.
Yeah, it's really dark. But again, if anyone knows Lynn, they'll know what I'm talking about. Kind of a rough place.
Did you grow up going into the big city?
No, I had no culture, no access to culture until I was, driving age. And then I would be driving in to Cambridge to go to the movies or go to Newbury Comics, which I think you're old enough to know what I'm talking about.
Yes, totally. Yeah. And there was
Newbury Comics was pretty much in which was literally in the mall in my town. But then, you could go into Boston and go to the cool one. That was pretty much my introduction to all culture at that era. Yeah, because it's pre-internet, right?
Sure.
What was a uncultured, artistic teen going to do in the 90s to find out about stuff? There wasn't an internet yet. And so unless you were really super online, there were the few people I think that were weirdly online, but no one I knew was. So yeah, you'd go to the mall and see what was on sale at Newbury Comics. Find out that way. New releases, the CD section or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so were you into fanzines and that kind of stuff, or did that come later?
No, I wasn't cool enough. I was going to the mall, Ben. I think I probably sort of heard of a fanzine, but I don't think I ever actually saw. I probably read about fanzines and Sassy magazine,
Sassy. I first became aware of you, and the reason I guess I was asking about Harvest was because I grew up in Kansas, in Oklahoma, and your film Nuts was the first film of yours that I saw.
Oh yeah, Kansas.
And it blew
me Kansas story.
away. Big time Kansas story. Kansas is full of these sort of fantastical weirdos who make a home for themselves out in the middle of nowhere and create their version of utopia, which is often super bizarre.
Yes.
And this guy, Dr. Brinkley,
that's his name,
right, was essentially fleeing the authorities, came to Kansas, right, and was taking testicles from goats and implanting them in men as a fertility treatment in the 40s.
Yeah, not a fertility treatment. It was a an impotence treatment.
And
I guess is how I would say it. It was for curing impotence.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, starting in the 20s.
In the 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then into the 40s. So he had like a long period. I mean, he did this surgery tens of thousands of times.
Yeah, and he was like super successful. He made a lot of money.
Very rich, very famous.
Yeah.
One of the most famous people in America at the time.
Right.
But then by the time I made my film, he had been more or less, I think, memory holes.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
little too embarrassing, a little too weird to like.
Well, and even growing up in Kansas, like I was not aware of that story. No. But my stepdad is a total snob. He's like a voracious reader. He loves movies, but like is really intense about them and like only watches like what he considers to be like classic movies. So like Godfather 1 and 2 or like his benchmarks. I took that film home and showed it to him.
Nice.
And he loved it.
Let me tell you something. Penny Lane movies are very popular with dads. Like, it's like,
funny.
telling you, I'm like, I got the dad market covered. People's like smart dads like love my movies.
You're so right. Oh my God. Yes. Hail Satan, listening to Kenny G.
The Nixon movie.
The Nixon movie.
Yeah.
Oh, Penny, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh
How do I like market that? The smart dad
for
market.
The cool dad market. But did you? I mean,
no, I didn't set out to make dad movies. It's just my natural taste, I guess.
That is so funny.
It's funny. I mean, it's partly I think because I love history so much. It's kind of a stereotype. Like, what do you get dad for Christmas? You buy him like a biography. I read an article recently about the decline of like the book you buy dad for Christmas. Like that's that category of book, which is usually like a serious historical biography of like a male figure, usually.
Right.
Has stopped selling so well.
Really?
Because nobody reads anymore. And so people don't buy their dads like a biography for Christmas anymore.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
That is very sad, especially because I've noticed your apartment has so many books in it.
So many books. So many less than I used to have. But, I live in a very small place, so I have to be very strict. And like, as you can see, there's an overflow pile.
Yes.
And then at any given moment, I'm supposed to be like getting rid of the number it takes to make them fit on these shelves. That's supposed to be the discipline.
So you're a voracious reader.
I love reading. Yeah, I love reading.
Too.
But now I have a Kindle, so it does. Yeah.
I don't
like it, but I do it.
Yeah.
I'm
traveling right now. You saw me come in with my big old bag. I have a great big hardback book in there, and it's heavy and it sucks.
It's so stupid.
But I want to hold it. I want the book.
I understand. I do too. But the Kindle has really changed my life. Like being able to like not bring. Because I read like on a vacation, I'll read a book a day. So, you can't be like, well, I'm bringing. Well, you can. I used to bring 14 books in like a suitcase for a 2-week vacation.
You'll read a book a day?
Oh, yeah.
You're my hero. That's amazing. I take a lot longer than that. I do a ritual where I stretch in the morning.
Very nice.
And I read while I stretch, which sounds very weird, but I don't know.
That's really smart.
I do it. So it's like about 15, 20 minutes in the morning and about 15, 20 minutes at night. And usually that, if it's a good book, I kind of extend that and I'll sit down and read an extra 10 or something.
I mean, I read way less than I used to though, because of everything like this.
Right.
Like podcasts really messed up a huge amount of my reading attention. Also really wiped out a lot of my music listening.
Yeah, that's true too, isn't it?
I remember like growing up and thinking like, like my mom or just like the adults in the world that I grew up in always had every TV on in every room.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so, tacky, but also like, why? Like, why are they doing this? Like, no one's even watching these TVs. They're just on, like blasting in every room. And then, in my 20s, I didn't even have a TV, like I didn't even have a TV probably till I was in my 30s. But then like the whole world changed so much. And now I have like constant chatter.
Yeah.
Whether it's from my screens or from a podcast in my ears.
Right.
And it's just like constant.
Yeah.
Like I have to really work hard to be like, maybe you don't need to reach to like hit play in a podcast the second you wake up.
Right.
Like maybe there could be a little bit more quiet. So yeah, reading has been, thank God I have that habit because it's one of the only things that still works to like get me to sit quietly.
Totally.
and not have noise happening.
But it's hard, right? Because even, I don't know if you're like me, but even though I love it and I like look forward to it.
Oh, my brain is broken. I'll be like, it's like I have to put the phone like in another room.
In another room, because like I go every
if that thing
couple
like
minutes.
even lights up a little, it's like it's over for me.
Oh, I have all my notifications off. And you know what? I discovered this hack recently where I go to the gym and I usually am listening to a podcast and I've stopped.
Okay.
Because I noticed every single person around me was in their own world listening to God knows what.
Yeah.
And I was like, my job is to be creative and to come up with stories. And the way to do that is to like zone out and let my brain have some space.
I know.
And if somebody's always like chattering at me.
I know. I feel the same way. Like I'm like, my entire business, my entire like living is based on my creative mind. And I have to like take care of it.
Totally.
I can't just pollute it all day, every day.
It's really like that. Like you have to like be really hardcore about like, I cannot.
I know.
Yes, I need to give it some space. Okay, so yes, so I took your film home to my stepdad's and that was my introduction to Penny Lane.
Nice.
And I have been a huge fan of yours ever since. And come to find out, Naiti Gamez shoots your movies.
All of them.
And do you know that she and I went to grad school together? We were in the same graduate school class.
In Austin?
In Austin,
Oh,
at the University of Texas.
I didn't know that.
And there's only like 9 of us.
I love Naiti.
So she's amazing.
She's the best.
I have a very funny story about Naiti. Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
So Naiti is very tough and very cool. And I was always like intimidated by Naiti in grad school.
Naiti, for anyone who doesn't know, is my DP and she's covered in like cool tattoos.
Cool tattoos. And she just has like this edge about her. And you're just like, I want her to like me. I don't want to do anything to upset Naiti. And so
I bet she's softened in age though too. Like she was probably way more intimidating then than she is.
Oh, for sure. Well, and also in grad school, you went to grad school, right?
Yes.
So you know, like everybody's kind of posturing, we're all insecure, and everybody's trying to like prove that we know what we're doing.
Totally.
And so at UT, they're basically training you to be an independent filmmaker by like, you learn everything. You learn how to record sound and edit and produce and all that. And so you break into groups and then you help each other the first semester, like make your individual projects, right? So I'm recording sound. I don't do that great with recording sound, right? So
that's why you have this job now.
That's why. Exactly. So I decided to start a bike. But Naiti was shooting for the moon and she got 2 actors to reenact this scene where they're in bed naked and they get in this, they basically like go from like hooking up to breaking up over the course of this scene.
Okay.
She builds a set. And this is basically like a practice scene that we're doing for a directing class.
Right.
Like she's like going for it, right? And so we're in the studio. She is like rehearsed with the actors, cast some very beautiful actors who are very naked in front of on set. And then she proceeds to buy this like sort of gourmet, like very heavy pizza for the crew, right? So you just have to picture like I'm, 24 years old or something. I'm full of delicious pizza. I'm like sitting in a chair and I'm looking at like beautiful naked people. And my job is to record sound. So I'm looking at the levels. I'm like, this rules. This is like the greatest. I love this job. So we film it. We film the whole scene. She calls me like 24 hours later. What the hell happened? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And she goes, there's no audio on my project. I was like, no, Naiti, there was the levels. I saw them. And she's like, well, you were checking the levels of the sound bag. Did you check it coming out of the camera? And this is back like shooting on mini DV, so it was like you could get a different feed of the sound bag than you could in the camera.
You didn't record any sound?
I didn't throw it to the camera. And she did all of that work with no sound, and she hated me. She hated me for like the next year. And I tried so hard to get on her good side.
Oh no.
And now we're cool. We're back to being cool.
It only took 20 years.
I love my Nate dog. But yes.
That's so funny. I started working with Naiti Hail Satan was the first feature I did with her. So that came out in 2019. Yeah, I probably started working with her in 2017.
And how did you guys meet?
through my producer, Gabriel.
Okay.
Because at that time, you know, all I'd done was R. Nixon and Nuts. And R. Nixon had no shooting because I was so intimidated by camera stuff. And I just, stuff like the story you just told. Like, I was like, I don't need it. I don't want to deal with it. Like, it's too much pressure.
Right.
And I never had any idea how to, like, direct or anything. So anyway, so I did archival projects, and Nuss was supposed to be an archival project, but then it kind of didn't work as an archival project. So I added this element of animated recreation and like voice actors. And I did like 4 very simple kind of like expert sit down interviews for that.
Yeah.
And for that, I hired a crew, very low budget crew to kind of do that for me. But I really just had no idea how to shoot at all. And so when Gabriel and I started working together, he connected me to like crew for the first time, like actual people who knew what they were doing.
Right.
So Naiti was in that group. Naiti and Taylor Roy, who's my preferred sound recordist, both came on the very first shoot that Gabriel and I did together. And we've been working together ever since.
Oh, I love it.
I feel like, you know, whenever I'm feeling down about myself or like I want to give myself shit for something or how I'm so bad at my job, which is like my primary cognitive experience, I do think like, you know, it's probably pretty meaningful that like all of my collaborators come back and work with me film after film.
Absolutely.
And that like, including funders, you know, that like I've had these relationships that have been consistent. And then I'm like, oh, that seems like a good thing. Like that seems like a point in like a pro penny column. Maybe you're not that bad at your job.
100%. Yeah. And that's like, that's really hard to do, you know?
Yes.
Like it's like being in a band or something. Like you got to find the right mix of people, you know, that make you feel like support you, but also can challenge you.
But also, like you trust them, they trust you, and like we all have fun together. And like, you know, if we can't have fun together, then like what's the point? Because this is a very hard, precarious, you know, not very well paying career.
Right.
So I like to at least have fun doing it.
You have to. Absolutely. It's got to be meaningful.
Meaningful fun. Like I got to at least have that.
Right.
Do you know how hard I worked to find the balance of this art wall that you're now shooting? It took me so long to figure out how to arrange these objects in like a good way, because you would think that you'd want this large mirror in the middle.
Right.
And you'd be wrong. So I spent a lot of time moving these objects around.
I think
it's very satisfying that it looks as good as it does. And
now we're showcasing.
The problem is that when I move into an apartment, I spend like a year decorating.
Sure.
And then everything's perfect. And then I get bored and eventually just want to move out. Yeah. Like I guess I could take it all down, but it's like, no, this is pretty perfect. Like why would I change it?
You never like redecorate.
I'm not big on redecorating. I feel like I nailed it because I worked really hard to figure it out. The only thing I would want to do is get a bigger TV. Speaking of TVs,
the frame TV is super nice.
It is nice,
I like
but
how it like blends into the
small.
wall.
My first television. Not kidding.
Come on.
No, I'm not kidding. It was my first television. Because, I mean, I started watching TV on my laptop like a normal person in my 30s, like as the streaming era began.
Right.
Like my whole world. I mean, I think it was all the time. Like, oh yeah, we didn't used to just be able to say like, I want to watch all of Vanderpump Rules now.
No.
And you could just go click and just see all of it. Like anything, not anything, because we know there's a lot of missing stuff.
Right.
But like to feel like that is so different.
It's so different. And you know,
and we're the same age. So like, know, like it's like, wait, like you used to have to like turn on the television at certain times.
Right, to actually watch something live with commercials. And I got a really interesting glimpse into that because when I did a Hulu show a couple years ago, I was talking to one of the executives and I was just like asking him all these questions, like how many pitches do you hear? How many green lights do you get? Like what are you up against? And he was like, the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is not only are we competing against the shows that are out now, but all of a sudden, we're competing against the Seinfeld catalog.
Of course.
Like the whole Friends, you know, canon is like our competition.
Remember when like Suits was the biggest thing on Netflix like 2 years ago? It's like a 20-year-old show.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it was like the number one top performing Netflix thing of the year. And I was like, that was a moment that I was like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Right.
Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like how do you break through?
How do you break through when you have like such a long, and then also why would a Netflix or a Hulu invest in a new show that might take a couple seasons to get off its feet. Because remember how it used to be like that? Like, you'd be like, oh, Parks and Rec season 1 was like, okay, but it sort of found its footing.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe
3
third
and
season.
4 were amazing.
Yes, and then sometimes it would like take that time.
Right.
And it was the same in the music industry. When I did the Kenny G movie, I was like, oh, like Arista put out 4 full Kenny G albums before he had a hit.
Wow.
Why did they keep doing it? You look at it now and you're like, that would just never happen.
Never happen.
Like, he wouldn't get the first record
No,
deal.
he'd have to have like so many followers on TikTok to even get.
But yeah, that idea of like the information landscape and like how like documentary filmmakers are trying to like create work to fit into it, and like knowing that your competition even is bigger than what your Hulu exec said, right?
Yeah.
I know he knows, and I know you know. It's like, it's not just the catalog, it's also TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and like podcasts, and just like this kind of infinite, ever-growing, all-encompassing stream, like a fire hose of information.
Yeah.
And you're like, I made a movie.
Right.
And it's just
Dropping
it's just like in there. It's just, you know, and like there are many evenings where I should get off my couch and go see a movie at a movie theater, and I know isn't it so funny how, but instead I stay home and like scroll Instagram. But isn't it so funny also how in our lifetimes movies have become like a prestige art form?
Yes. Totally. Other than novel. It's
funny.
a novel. It's
that
like
is so funny to me.
Totally.
Like, people are like, fix your attention span, watch a movie. And I'm like, this is not, like, people used to think movies were the problem.
Exactly.
And it would be like, fix your attention span, read a novel.
Right.
But now the best we could hope for is like a 90-minute, like a movie, like a Spider-Man movie is going to like solve my attention.
I know. Well, and it's because if you've talked to any, person under 25, they basically don't sit through a movie.
Yeah, I know.
They don't do it.
No.
Yeah. Which is
They do, but
wild.
they also just like sort of have their phone open.
Yes.
Which I get because I do that too.
Right.
Look, I'll be real.
Yeah.
I live alone, so my discipline on these things is not as good as it would be if I was like living with a partner or a family, and I had to like be like seen at being so bad at being able to focus on a movie. I think I'd be embarrassed, and I would be better.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm going to the movies today, so I can like I could have gotten a screener of this Mary Oliver doc. My friend Sasha made it.
Right.
Sure, she would have sent me a link, but I was like, I'm going to the movies because I genuinely want to be enveloped, and I genuinely need it to be like, I can't look at my phone for 90 minutes.
Yes.
And like, at this point in my life, I don't possess the discipline to accomplish that at home. Or very rarely, I should say. Very rarely.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty rare that I can get through a whole movie without once looking at my email.
Totally.
I'm sitting where you're sitting right now.
Well, so what...
How do you make movies?
Well, yeah. Well, like, what do you think the future of documentary looks like?
No, I mean, I know that people like documentary as like, a mode of making, or like a way of experience, or even a mode of reception is never going to go away. People want what that is. People want the real. They want access to the real. So even when people get all upset about AI or whatever, I'm just like, it's not going to take my job because it can't do what we do. But at the same time, the documentary impulse or like that it could be satisfied in so many different forms.
Right.
So really what you're asking is about like movies, you know what I mean? Like, and that's, so when I say documentary, when you say documentary, we're meaning like movies, documentary movies. I think they'll still exist. I have no idea in like 100 years what cinema will be, but yeah, I'm just trying to sort of like more think about how to make an impact on the marketing side. As we were talking earlier, I'm in promo mode right now.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
really
the very cool Wild Inside.
Am I wearing this hat in every interview? Yes, I am. I've come to realize that you just can't. You can't assume, like, even you're like, when you have a new thing coming out, you think you've been talking about it constantly. Like, you're like, oh, no one needs to hear again about how I have a new movie coming out. And like, no matter how many times you're like, I did a Facebook post and I sent an email and I did the Instagram and I did this and I told everyone at the parties that I go to, someone still has absolutely no idea. That you have a movie coming out.
I need to be
and then
reminded.
never mind someone a lot of people you don't know definitely don't know you have a movie coming out, and like it's just so incumbent on you to try to reach those people. In this information landscape, it's just never been more. Even if you're lucky even if you're like in like the 1% of filmmakers who have like, my film will be on HBO.
Yeah.
So like this is like
amazing. That's a huge success. Yeah.
It's amazing. And like, and it's like one of the few kind of places where like the broadcast model, it still exists. Like it's like a broadcaster.
Yeah.
They're like, we are HBO. We will broadcast this to you.
And it's a stamp of approval too. It's like, holy, okay, this is going to be really good.
So, you know, assuming they put any effort into it at all, they could like push it on people if they want to, if they choose to in their catalog. I've also had movies and other, you know, it doesn't mean they're going to do it. But, you know, in theory, you could like push it on people. I find that most people still think that that's the world we live in. No one's really fully getting that the broadcast era is kaput.
Yeah.
People are opting in. People need to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not a broadcast thing. It's like people have to kind of like find you and choose you. It's this much more interactive. It's actually kind of very audience led, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, the people out there in the world who like love your work, they're not going to find it through the broadcast model. Almost never. I mean, of course, every once in a while, that's what happens. Like Game of Thrones happens, and then HBO is like, you should watch this, and they'll make sure that you know about it and put billboards in every city.
Right.
But that's like not even 1% of media. So not even 1% of successful media gets
you don't
that
think
kind
people like, you know, will be looking through Netflix and find your Confessions of a Good Samaritan and
I think zero people
it?
have ever found it that way.
Really?
I don't think it's zero. But I definitely have gone on Netflix myself many times and like tried to find it.
Yeah.
Like click through.
Yeah.
And like the algorithm, maybe they know my viewing habits are.
They're like, we know it's you.
They're like, no, they're like, we know you want to watch like Survivor reruns. So like maybe it's my fault. But I've like literally gone through, I'm like, personal documentaries, like biographical documentaries, science documentaries, and I'm like heartfelt documentaries. I'm like, maybe it's in comedy. And then I've never found it.
Wow.
Never once.
Wow.
So I'm glad it's there. I'm sure there's, you know, some people who have found it that way.
Yeah.
If they have very different viewing habits from mine, perhaps, but
you're saying that people find you because they have heard of you or they've seen your other movies and then they basically like seek you out.
No,
and then find your work.
or the algorithm clocks what you're into.
Oh, I see.
In one way or another.
Cool dad stuff.
Cool dad stuff.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's like, you know, oh, like I made a movie about Richard Nixon or Satanism or Kenny G, and like something else in your viewing history, viewing habits has like led the algorithm to believe you'd be interested in it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't get served my own movies. Like whatever I'm doing, I'm not apparently consuming media. But you know, I don't think I'm really the average.
Maybe that's the name of your episode. I don't get served my own movies.
I don't. It's very rare. It's very rare.
That's interesting.
But it's also just like, it feels so, it's all so different now. I'm sorry, but it has nothing to do with what you wanted to talk about.
This is what I want to talk about. I want to talk to you.
It's so odd because, you know, Hail Satan was on Hulu originally.
Yeah.
It was a Magnolia Films production.
Again, all huge names.
Yeah, these are like great. I've worked with the greatest people.
Yeah, the greatest people. Like those are like, to have Magnolia release your movie is like, as a documentary independent filmmaker,
awesome.
You've hit the jackpot.
And they were
to get on HBO, to be on Netflix, like you are operating at a very high level.
Yeah, I know. But I also have no money and like feel like I'm never, like I wrote about this in my Substack last weekend. Like I look around sometimes and I'm like, you are like making movies for a living, right? Penny, you're making movies for a living. I'm making movies for a living. Like this is like being in the NBA or something.
Yeah.
But then my primary like cognitive experience is fear that I won't be able to make movies because you're always worried about the next one.
Right.
Like quite literally, like at this point in my life, I mean 8 feature docs. I got the 9th one like half funded recently. And you would think that I'd be like, hooray! But instead I was like, what's the 10th one? Like literally the minute I got that one like somewhat set up, I had to immediately start thinking about the next one.
Right.
And I was like, this is exhausting. Because you're always worried the next one's never going to come.
Right.
Because creative careers are so precarious and so subject to like your stock, like how, you know what I mean? Like, are you like a rising star or like, you know, have you like plateaued, or these are like not, it's not like you're a lawyer and you like work your way up the chain.
Right.
And there's kind of like an obvious raise each year or something.
Right.
Like it's so not that. and you're always scared, like whatever you've managed to accomplish or get, at least if you're me, I'm immediately scared of losing it. And I think it's actually a rational fear, because the arts are about essentially popularity and like buzz and like what's cool and what's not cool. And like now I've become successful enough where I'm sure there are people who like hate me and would love to see me fail, like, which is its own success. Its own rung of success is having haters.
You've made it.
Or having people that are just like, ugh, like, I'm sick of her. You know what I mean? And it's like, that I've had that experience with filmmakers that I like.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that, like, you know, it's just like, it's so, I don't know, like, you know, I feel so much gratitude for what I have, but it's just not to deny. I think it's rational to fear losing it. I really do. Your status.
Yeah.
That's why, like, so much of this game is like a prestige game. And people like try to gaslight you, and they'll just be like, oh, festivals don't matter, awards don't matter. And I'm like, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Right. All these prestige markers, like you were like impressed because I made a movie with Magnolia. You're impressed because I like have a movie on Netflix. Like even if that Netflix deal was like for almost $0.
Right.
Like it's a prestige marker.
It's a prestige marker.
It was so little money.
To play
it was like we practically would have paid Sundance Netflix and Sundance for that matter.
Right.
You practically would have paid Netflix to put the movie on there.
Right.
Because and that's actually something I learned recently. When you see a movie, this is like so mind-blowing to me, even in you'd think I would know this already. If you see, like, I don't want to use the name of a distributor because I don't want to like call anyone out, but big distributors, everyone knows all of them. You might see 2 movies in the same theater in a weekend from the same distributor that you think is a cool distributor that has cachet.
Okay.
One of them bought the movie, like went to a festival, saw it, made an offer, got the deal, and is like has paid the film team or the investors to release the movie.
Right.
The other one, it's a service deal, and the film team has paid the distributor to put the movie out. And that is prestige in action.
Right.
Because they don't need, like, you could just hire a booker and book your own theatrical.
Right.
But they want the imprimatur.
Right.
And this business is so crazy that you could have 2 movies next to each other, and you, like, as a viewer, you have no idea which one was the one that they paid the distributor to put out and which one was the one the distributor paid to put out.
Right.
Like, I don't know why, but I find that mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And it just shows, like, how much of our industry is, like, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I always say to people that anyone with any sense for business who would look at, like, a budget and then look at a report from a distributor would laugh and run the other way.
I mean, the Hollywood accounting thing is real.
Yeah. Well, and also it just doesn't make sense. Like, it is not a business. It is a calling. It is something that you do for intangible reasons, not tangible.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, the thing that our parents probably tried to warn us about. And now that we're older, we're like, oh yeah, probably a career in finance would have been an easier life.
You could make movies as a hobby.
Exactly.
Which is probably smarter.
But I don't think you would make movies as a hobby because, in a way, I think you probably need that fear to drive you to the next thing.
Probably.
To stay prolific. And I bet, and you know, it's easy for me to say not being in their shoes, but I bet in 10, 20, 30 years, when you are like having career retrospectives and you're looking back over like the 25 features that you've made, you are going to be like, thank God, you know? And you're not going to be thinking about, you know, how small your apartment was back now. You're going to be like, I did something and I have this like amazing body of work.
That's what I was saying. Like, that was the kind of the thing I was writing about in my Substack. Like, ultimately, you have to just think the only reward you can do this for is the reward of getting to do the work.
Yeah.
That's it. Because everything else is like, comes and goes. It's transitory. Like, you'll have films that are hits. You'll have films that are failures. I've had so many of both. And you'll have like seasons of your life where maybe you're feeling like no one gives a crap about what you're doing in seasons of your life where everyone's clapping for you and all that is great. Money will come and go. Some films you'll be able to get funded, other films you won't.
Right.
Some films will make money, some films you'll lose money. The money comes and goes. The prestige is like so all over the map. Like for whatever reason, you either you do or you don't get into festivals. You do or you don't get like that award that you think you need, that grant you think you need. All of this is so outside your control. And the only reason any of that can matter is if it's what's letting you do the work.
Yeah.
And I am not a person of means, like of money. So for me, like I need to be able to find ways to support myself while I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
And just right now, I'm not saying I wouldn't again. I used to be a teacher, so I'm down with like day job. Like I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, right now I'm not, but like I'll probably one day again get a day job, and that's fine too. Like, you know, it's just a question of like, how can I do the work? How can I sustain myself so I can keep doing the work?
Right.
How do I not burn out?
Yeah.
I'm very burnt out.
And you taught film when you were teaching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, again, pretty big places like Williams College,
Yeah.
right? And
Hampshire, RIP Hampshire College.
is it
It closed
Oh,
last year. It's so sad.
Oh,
Love that place. That was my first teaching job. It was very cool. I was at Williams for a few years, and then I was at Colgate. That's where I got tenure.
Okay.
And then I
Wow,
left.
you had tenure.
Yeah, I got tenure, and then I like immediately quit.
Penny. people like wait their whole lives
I'm
to
a
get
risk
tenure.
taker, baby.
You are.
I'm like,
Wow.
I'm out on the edge. It's like you said, like that fear is probably pretty motivating.
Yeah.
But then someone else told me something kind of cool the other day about that, because I was saying like, what if your fear and your insecurity and even like your petty, you know, jealousies and desire for vengeance, what if these things are the things that actually are keeping me going?
Right.
And he was like, it might be, but he was like, maybe you could think about it this way, like there's fuel and there's dirty fuel, and like, you know, fear of starvation and petty jealousies and those kinds of things, or maybe they're kind of dirty fuel and maybe they're like causing more harm than they need to, and maybe you could find it. And I was like, fine, you're right. You're right. You're the kind of person
Was
that's
this
going to
person a therapist? 'Cause
No,
that sounds
but
like
they're the kind of person who's like good at keeping up their meditation practice. So, you know, it's
okay.
unlike me. So, you know, I do want to kind of, I do need to like kind of find more peace in all of this. Like, you know, it is a big challenge for me.
Yeah. Well, it's a very hard career.
It's a very hard career, and it's truly like, like I said, I think I always thought of it when I left my teaching job, and I was like, I'm just going to move back to New York and just make films for a living.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was at the height of the streaming boom.
Right.
So there was reasons, like I wouldn't do that today.
Yeah.
But at the time, you know, there really was a lot of demand for my skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting a lot of job offers, and I wanted to take them, and I couldn't take them if I had a teaching career. But I thought to myself, I really did think of it as being like a pro athlete, where I was like, you know, maybe you're not a pro athlete for more than 5 years.
Yeah.
Like most pro athletes don't get to do it forever.
Interesting.
You know, like their knee goes out, you know.
Yeah.
So-
you know what analogy I use is like a surfer. We have to stay in shape.
Yes.
We have to paddle out.
Yeah.
We have to be ready.
Yeah.
And then
For
when
the
the wave
waves,
comes, and if you don't do that stuff,
Yeah.
you're not going to catch
Right.
a wave.
Yeah, because if you're not there, you're not in shape, and you're not like practiced or
Right.
whatever. It's a good point. Like the movie I have coming out right now is like a hit. I haven't had a hit in a while. I'm like, oh, I'm glad I know what to do.
Yeah.
Even, you know, I tried to do these things with the last couple. They weren't hits, but like at least I know what the things are that you're supposed to do.
I would say Hail Satan was a hit.
Huge hit.
Yeah.
Huge hit.
Yeah.
It was 7 years ago.
What other hits are you thinking of? Are you saying Nuts was a hit?
Nuts was a hit in its way, and that was in 2016. And Listening to Kenny G was a hit, but it was a hit. I mean, it was really streaming. You know, like it played at Toronto, so like again, prestige,
Yes.
right? Like
my Spindrift.
my one movie that got into Toronto, so I'm like, oh, good, I get to have that laurel now. You know, that goes in the bio, and it was a very awesome experience. But it didn't. But it was like it was on HBO pretty soon after that. So like it wasn't like I had some kind of long in-person victory tour with it. It just went on streaming.
Okay.
And so it was only gradually that I came to understand that it was like beloved, that a lot of people were seeing it, a lot of people were talking about it, but that was like very gradual because the streaming thing is like a black box. Like I have no idea.
And they don't tell you?
No. You might get like a vague, like HBO, my colleagues at HBO might say like, oh, it's, you know, people are still watching it, you know, like, I mean, in a very vague sense, but you're not like getting numbers or something,
Right.
you know? So yeah, Letterboxd really changed a lot for me because now I can see that people are watching and engaging with the work on streaming. Whereas there never used to be a mechanism for that.
Right.
Right? Because festivals, you can see people in person,
Sure.
you know, theatrical, you can see people in person, but like for streaming stuff, and I've made a few films now for streaming, I just never had any, I just felt like I was like throwing them out there and then moving on, and it didn't have the same feedback loop.
Yeah.
But so Letterboxd is like my favorite website now, because I'll be like, oh, is anyone watching Happy and You Know It this month? Oh, look, someone's watching Happy and You Know It, you know? It's really nice.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I want to go way back. You've said so many things. And I'm like, oh, I got to follow up. Oh, I got to follow up. Okay. So you went to graduate school and you became a teacher. Was that the goal? And did you think of yourself like, I'm going to make docs and teach? And like that was sort of the dream?
I don't think I didn't have like a plan. I wasn't trying to be a filmmaker. It was so just a door would open and I would go through it. And then I'd hang out there for a while. Then I'd be like, oh, what else could I be doing? And then I'd find another door and I would go through that. So I always loved school and I always loved my teachers. So I always wanted to be a teacher. That was like before any concept of like art as like career.
Right.
That was not the dream. The dream was never like, I'm going to be an artist. It wouldn't have crossed my mind. I had some teaching jobs that involved teaching like little kids to make videos in like a community media setting, which again, we're the same age, so I know you know all my references. I'm like, let me explain what community media was, you know. It used to be that, you know, as it was like it was like the mini DV revolution where, and like, you know, Final Cut.
Rio.
Or I guess, what I'm thinking of?
I got Final Cut 1.0.
Yeah,
or are you thinking of Toaster?
No, I'm not thinking of Toaster. I'm actually thinking of the Apple one. It was
Final Cut?
iMovie.
Oh, yes.
Like, you know, TARNATION was made on iMovie.
Oh,
remember?
Right. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, iMovie and mini DV cameras made it so it was so much more accessible for people to like, make movies.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so accessible that everyone could just do it on their phone like they can now.
Right.
So there was this interim period, kids, where you know, you could have like a community media center with like 10 iMacs and like 10 mini DV cameras. And then you could have like, you know, kids come in and teach. And so that's what I was doing. I had like a summer job and then I kept doing that for a while. And I was just super inspired by these little kids making movies. I was like, that looks so fun. And like, they're not all concerned about what's cool or whether this is good or is it art or, you know, is it as good as like Werner Herzog, you know, like all the stuff that I probably would have been thinking if I was trying to make movies at that age.
Yeah.
And so I just started making movies with them. And then that kind of evolved into being kind of very involved in like community media organizing, indie media. And then I went to grad school to kind of continue that. But then when I got to grad school, I just wanted to like make art. And so I started making my own art in graduate school. It was all very random. And then I got a teaching job at Hampshire and I kind of continued making, and I was sort of doing video art at that point.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, go back to the art. Because I saw a whole lot of shorts that I was not aware of.
That's what I was doing, yeah.
So it was like,
I did like a program and like, it was called Integrated Electronic Art. So it was like a digital art program at RPI. And yeah, I was trying to make video art. I was trying to be a fine artist.
Yeah, I got a video art minor at UT, and my girlfriend in undergrad was a perforance artist who did video stuff. So I'm very, I know about video installation.
It all sounds so like old school to me now. Like, is anyone even talking about video art anymore? Like, is that even a category? Anyway, so, but I wasn't that good at it. I think my like populist instincts were always kind of working against me in that world where I was like, why are you learning all this interesting stuff in your research and then just like not telling your audience about it? It always just felt like the art was like, anyway, hard to understand, whatever. So I was kind of just like not that good at video art. And I started doing docs kind of during grad school. And then gradually that became more what I was doing.
The thing that's so fascinating, I mean, there's many things that are fascinating, but like one thing that separates us pretty wildly is that you from what I understand, started editing found footage as a way to make docs, whereas I was very like, I'm gonna get a camera and go out in the world and have these weird adventures.
And that's the normal way. Like that's like the classic way. I also wrote a Substack about that, how I feel like embarrassed about how little I'm interested in the camera. Like still to this day, people will be like, what did you shoot the movie on? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I literally don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
just
so pure and so beautiful.
No, it's the opposite of pure.
No, it's great.
Documentary, like the impulse, like the stereotype of the doc director is like the guy with the camera, the headphones on, and I'm just like, I don't do any of that stuff.
But that's so great because literally, like, if the story is good, it doesn't matter. It can be shot on a phone. It can be shot on anything. Like
it doesn't matter, and that's why I work with Naiti because she's, you know, she's so good. I mean, like my films look like I care about what camera I'm shooting on. You know, it doesn't matter if it's ultimately, it's a collaborative medium.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's collaborative is such an interesting word with you, especially, so we're jumping now from back then to today.
Sure.
But your instinct to use other people's footage is what Wild Inside is essentially, or how it was made. I don't want to say what it was about.
Totally.
But when I saw it, all I could think about was, how in the world did she go and like, how is she embedded with birders at all hours of the night? Like peering up into the trees out in the rain, like this seems so hard to capture. And then I read that other people,
oh right, she didn't shoot any of that.
Like shot most of the movie, and I was like, I was floored, honestly, because it doesn't even occur to me.
We did fool you, didn't we? Like because we would just go back, like we had infinite material from the birders.
So explain that, because that's hard for me to even understand.
So basically, like, you know, Flaco this is an owl who escaped from the Central Park Zoo and kind of turned up on a sidewalk on Fifth Avenue outside the Bergdorf Goodman and the Plaza Hotel, and then, you know, many adventures followed. The zoo tried to catch him. He got away. And then eventually he lived as a wild owl in New York City. And so from the very beginning, I knew that there was like a very dedicated group of kind of amateur good, like, what's the word for that? Like, they're not professionals in the sense that they're like making a living on this, but they're really good at what they do, and they're bird photographers, they're nature photographers, who do most of their work in Central Park. So they were following Flaco around, and he had like this dedicated paparazzi, you know? And so I knew from the beginning we could make the film because they would have infinite footage, and they are dedicated. Like I said, like I can't afford to send a crew out day in and day out and like maybe not even get a shot of him. Like, but this was their hobby. This was their passion. This is what they do for fun. They're like, we go out to the park every night. If we don't see Flaco, it's okay, because maybe we'll see a cool bat. Maybe we'll get a good shot of the coyotes. Maybe we'll see a flying squirrel, like, you know, or whatever else. They just love doing it. And so getting the cooperation of the birding community allowed us to amass a huge, like just massive amount of footage of Flaco and other animals in the park. And then our job was to shoot the reverse angles. You know, it was a lot of recreation. You know, like there was a few nights that we genuinely did follow them while they followed him. Because
you do have interviews with them that look lit, that are like, they couldn't have shot those because you're filming them, right? So like, like I'm thinking of the couple that
we just cut in shots of Flaco they shot another day. Do you know what I mean? It was very rare.
But you're interviewing them.
Yes.
Because we even hear your voice off camera sometimes, right?
They didn't shoot themselves. Like they only shoot one thing. They all want close-up portraits of Flaco. So that's all you get. And then you realize as a filmmaker, you're like, well, I needed some establishing shots. Like, where are we? Like, it's all just like a bird in a tree. And you're like, oh, we're in Central Park, or we're in the Lower East Side, or we're in the Upper East Side. And like, you need to go back and like, as the filmmaker now, create reverse angles. So it's like Flaco's point of view of them. They're watching him, he's watching them. So we're shooting Flaco's point of view of the birders. And then we're filming, you know, landscapes and establishing and other stuff like that, interstitial material to kind of string it all together. Honestly, when I watch it now, it's amazing to me. Like, I don't think anyone understands that we just weren't there all the time.
I certainly didn't.
It really feels like we were there the whole time.
But
it was like a huge challenge because we started the idea for the movie pretty early in his life, but it took time to get money, as does, right?
Yep.
The easiest money to get still takes a few months. Right. So our development money came in and it took a few months, and then we were like finally up and shooting, but then we had to go back and be like, here's our development materials. Can we get the rest of the money? I'm like, life is happening. Like Flaco's doing exciting things and we're not there. And it was so stressful, but the birders were there. And I just continued to like watch their footage and collect their footage and be like, wow, like they're getting all of it, like day after day. And then at the end of it, we had to just basically go back and like recreate the whole feeling of this year. It's the seasons changing, right? So it's like, okay, well, we need David and Jackie in this part of Central Park with this type of weather to match the shots of Flaco that we want to put with them.
Oh my God.
It was a huge producing challenge.
Yeah,
it was
sounds like it.
It was crazy, but it was so fun. It was honestly so fun.
So you shot 10 production days. Did I read that right?
I don't know. No, I think it was more than 10.
Was it more than 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
It had to be more than 10. Yeah.
I read that in our research doc.
It's probably, I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe, I don't know. I don't think it would be 10 days though. I can't imagine. It had to be more like 20.
Okay.
But in any case.
Oh, so that's like a standard shoot. I mean, like 20 days is
totally.
like, that's on the low side, but like that's still.
No, we definitely shot at least 20 because we went to the Netherlands, we went to into all these museums, like we shot a lot. But it's just that the bulk of the film that you think of when you think of the film is really the birders' footage. Like it just looks so beautiful that you think it's a professional camera that got it, but it's just like a very good amateur photographer.
Right.
And they're very good at it, what they do.
Yeah. Cool. So how did that idea come about? Like I know the way that it's framed in the film is that your partner Jeremy just stumbled on the owl.
That's what happened.
That's really what happened?
No, I didn't fake that part. Jeremy really was the first person to find Flaco, or at least the first person that made note of it.
Wow.
That like took some pictures and he texted them to me, and I called the police and called the wildlife rehab and tried to get the owl help.
Yeah.
That was how it started. But the movie didn't start that way. That was just like how the story started, like my involvement in it.
Right.
The movie didn't start until maybe like a month later.
Okay.
Because it was the movie in my head. Again, it took time to get money to film.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could just film myself, but I can barely get out of bed without like $10,000 to like pay my crew because I, aforementioned, don't know how to use a camera.
Right.
Don't really know how to record sound. Like I basically don't know how to do anything because I didn't go to film school.
Interesting. So how...
That would have been cool for me to learn like how to like hold a boom mic or something.
Right.
Now it's too late. I don't care anymore.
Well, so when you start a project, how do you go about it?
I mean, it's all just like research and picture research is a big part of research, So seeing like, most of my ideas die as soon as I sort of find pre-existing material with the character that I'm thinking of and I see that they're not good on camera, or I don't think they can carry a movie, or maybe the story seems interesting until I start realizing that the story world is like boring, that there's nothing visual, there's nothing to film. It's a lot of things that are interesting, that are great for podcasts or great for a magazine article, but like it's a pretty high bar to what's going to feel like a movie, I think. So it's just research. And then we'll sometimes do test shooting, but I can't think of any examples of having gone out and done shooting on a project that didn't happen, if that makes sense.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
so by the time you get to filming, you're like, you're doing it.
I can't, it costs so much money.
Right.
It just costs money. And for us, it costs a lot of money. Again, for other people, if you can like shoot yourself, like good, like do it, like that's the best way to get a project going is just start shooting.
Right.
But if you can't shoot, then like,
But what about something like Good Samaritan, where did you come up with like the concept of that and then sort of work backwards from there? Like, oh, what would it be like if I donated a kidney?
Oh no, I mean, I was giving the kidney.
You were?
Yeah, it wasn't like, it wasn't for the movie.
You were doing that already?
I was just doing it. But I was very far down the path of doing it before the idea for the film happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes it's like, you're just like living your life as like for me, this is how it feels. You're like living your life as like a curious person, and you always have your antenna up because like, you have to.
Right.
And then sometimes you're just like, this is feeling undeniable. That's what happened with Flaco. I was obsessed with this story.
Yeah.
But there are many stories that I become obsessed with that don't become a movie. You know what I mean? Where like maybe like, you know, I don't want to say the name of a person because someone else will make a movie about it. But there was a story in the news recently that I was like losing sleep over, like couldn't get enough. And then eventually I was like, I don't think this could be a movie, but it is very interesting.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm like very intrigued by something, I'm wondering, can it be a movie? Can it be a movie? So with Flaco, eventually it was like, yes, this could be a movie. That took maybe 3 or 4 weeks of like his life unfolding.
Right.
With the kidney donation, I probably thought earlier than when I started it could be a movie, but I just really didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I just really didn't.
Yeah, because that's the first film that you're actually in.
I really didn't want to do it. Like, there's all this stuff in the first act about like my reluctance to be on camera, and it's not cute. It's like real. Like I didn't put it in there as like a joke. Like I was like, no. But then I was like, oh, maybe I can make a different movie, you know, a movie about someone else getting a kidney. Yeah. But then I didn't want to do that either. It just seemed stupid. I was like, here I am, a documentary filmmaker, doing this thing. Like, you know, someone should do it. I guess it'll be me. But it took a long time. It was like we didn't really start even pitching a film about it until just a few months before my surgery.
Wow.
So it was a very last minute decision.
You know, this is making me think about...
Do you just go out and shoot? Is that your first step?
No, not at all. But the way that you're describing coming up with ideas is rhyming with how I've been thinking about making films and making art in the world, which is like the art being a byproduct of an interesting life. Yeah. Right? And that it's almost like an imprint of
100%.
like who you are as a person. It's like you're leaving a stamp, and that stamp, a version of you is in Wild Inside, a version of you is in Good Samaritan, and like, and that sounds so basic, but like,
it's not though.
But the way that you're saying, like, I'm just curious and I get obsessed and that's who I am, and that translates into movies some of the time.
Yeah, very rarely. Very rarely.
Which is so, you know,
or
I
there
think
are
that
other
that's
things
like,
you're obsessed with that maybe you would think would be a good movie, but there's just no audience for it.
Yeah.
Or like no one wants to pay for it or whatever. And so at this point in my career, I'm really only working on projects where someone wants to pay for it, and or there's an audience that we think exists. When I was starting out, I was just doing whatever was interesting to me. Yeah. Because I had a day job. Like, so, you know, this is the pluses and minuses of being a professional filmmaker. Right. Like, I can't just like do my weird thing anymore. Right. You know, which has its downsides.
And I've definitely like broken that rule so many times. Like I've spent my own money on development stuff, but I have a production company and we make commercials, and that pays me like a base salary, so I can go and like do that stuff.
It's a perfect move.
Well, except for as I get older and I have a mortgage and kids, it's like, you know, that your ratios are off, right? Like it used to be like I can do this on the side while I do this, and now it's like I can do this on the side while I'm doing
it.
it.
If you like were to randomly come into $100,000 as like a 25-year-old, you should put it into a movie. Yeah. You know, like it's sorry, you should. Now I'm like, that's going into my retirement account.
Exactly. 401k.
Like 401k, my non-existent savings. You know, it's very different when you're getting older.
It's true.
You know, your risk tolerance changes too.
Well, also I think the understanding what we're doing is different, and I think that's what I was saying about the imprint versus the like. I think when I was starting out and thinking of myself for the first time as a creative person, it was almost like this self-destructive, like adventurous, like, you know, you do it almost as like a rebellious activity in a way. And now it's really evolved for me to be much more of like I'm in conversation with the world, sort of. Yeah. And
that's a nice way to think about it.
And the way that you said that is what reminded me.
That's really nice. Yeah, but it's also, frankly, it's my job at this point in my life. Like at this moment, this is how I pay my rent. Right. This is how I've been paying my rent for the last 7 years. And it's, you know, there's been good years and bad years. This is not a good year financially. I haven't had a worse year than this one, which is the cognitive dissonance of having a hit movie. I know. The cognitive dissonance is so real. Yeah. Because like the more successful the film is, the longer I will work for free on its victory tour release. And that is unfortunate, but that is just the way it goes. Yeah. You know, so the better this movie does, the more time I'll spend going to Q&As, doing press, traveling around with the movie, you know, generally supporting its release. and enjoying all of it.
Right.
Like, this is like the reward, man.
Totally.
But then you're like, oh, another day where I didn't get to work on like starting a new project or figuring out how I'm going to pay the bills.
But the hope is that there's some
The hope is that you get to the next one
who comes to see
That's what
Wild
it is.
Inside and has a great experience
Yep.
watching one of your Q&As, talks to you afterwards and says, what are you working on
Exactly.
next?
That's
How can I
where,
help?
again, it's the same thing. Like, the success is good because it lets you keep doing the work. That is the only reason you can care about it, because all the other reasons they're not good reasons.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully it'll help me make the next film.
I love it. I want to do a lightning round with you, but before we do that, and this is maybe not necessarily a question with a brief answer. You also do you call what you do a podcast, or would you say it's a Substack?
I just do a Substack.
But you do a Substack with a video component.
Sometimes, yeah, I'll do like live conversations.
Live conversations?
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and a podcast?
I mean, there isn't one really, other than like it's live and then there's just a record of it later.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of a podcast, I guess.
And we obviously do our podcast.
Yeah.
And why, as a filmmaker, do you take time to do that?
Oh, well, the Substack I started last year, and it really was just, I've always been like a poster. Like, I've always been a person who's like, blah, 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 on like Facebook, or, you know, for better or worse, like I've always been this person.
Right.
In the era of social media. And there are times where I would be like wanting to write something longer. And I just, you know, it's sort of like Facebook is like a lame place for that. It's like not right. It's like not the right place for it. And so I had something I wanted to say. And then I thought, you know, I have a few friends who do Substacks, and I was like, I'm going to do one of those. I'm going to start a Substack, and I'm just going to have a place to go. I can like write these longer things. And then that like really became very successful very quickly in a way that I was not anticipating. And I've already mentioned bad times for me financially. And like that was like generating income like immediately.
Oh, wow.
Not big income,
Yeah.
but I was like, oh, like I could get paid to like write on the internet. Like, what a crazy idea. So I was like, I'm going to put more effort into this. And so I did. And so it became like a place for me to kind of share what I've learned about filmmaking over the years, which is nice because I always feel like I don't know anything until I really start thinking about it. And then I'm like, actually, I kind of know a lot.
Yeah.
Or like I have many tales to tell, or like things have changed so much during my lifetime or whatever. And then I'm also sharing like sort of questions I'm asking myself, some things about my process. And then, yeah, trying to find any place I can to like promote work that I love, which is a huge part of what I know. That's what you do.
That's the driving force for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just like want to be able to like, you know, lift up the work that you love, and like, why not, you know? And so it's just, and it's also just like really fun because I've only done maybe 6 or 7 of these live chats so far. And every one of them is someone I know, almost every one of them is someone I've known before. Like I knew a little bit at least.
Yeah.
But I'm always learning all new things about them. Like I had a conversation with Matt Wolf, and I was like, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that about you. Oh my God, we have that, you know.
Right.
Because you don't typically just talk to your friends the way you would for this kind of a conversation.
Sure, yeah.
So that's been really fun and like really cool. And I have to get back to it. I haven't done a live in a couple months. The last one I did was with Geeta Gandbhir about The Perfect Neighbor.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and it was super cool. And again, someone I've known for 15 years.
Yeah.
But I researched her in order to do a good job with my chat.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I didn't know that your first job was with Spike Lee. And like, you know, I didn't know that you went to the school or whatever. Like, it was just like, so it's cool. You like learn new things about people.
Totally. And I think there's something, at least for me personally, very fulfilling about this. Feels like documentary filmmaking in some sort of tangential way.
It is, yeah.
And it's immediate.
Yeah.
You just put it out really fast.
Oh, that's nice too. That's another good thing. Yeah.
You don't have to like overthink it.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
know, like having these kinds of conversations
Totally.
that happen when we get together or
Yeah.
meet each other at a film festival always feel significant and special. And so the idea that we can like share those
It's totally
is cool.
And then also that's the other thing too. Like I tried to have like a column in Filmmaker magazine maybe 10 years ago. I wrote maybe 6 pieces in it before I gave up, and it was so much pressure. And I was like, I have to write a column, and like it has to be really good, and you know, slave away for like weeks on every one of these things, and they were so like heavy with like, you know, it has to be perfect, it has to be good. And then with the Substack, it's like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, no. You put it out and people enjoy it or they
and
don't.
You just keep going.
You just
and then you write another one.
Yeah.
Then you write another one. And that has been really fun for me.
There's something freeing about that.
Like I wrote something recently and my friend Dan Kogan like wrote to me to say, oh, I think you misunderstood this concept. I think you used this word wrong. And like my old self would have been like mortified, humiliated, that I like had been slightly wrong in print. And now I'm just like, oh, I'll just go update the piece.
Right, no problem.
Like it's like not a big deal
at
all. Like nobody expects. So there's something about the format of Substack that I think I'm really suited for.
Yeah.
Like it's like first person. It's like bloggy. It's blogging.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it.
That's cool.
I think it's fun.
What is your advice to filmmakers starting out?
My advice to filmmakers starting out is always the same. It's just you have to kind of like do what you can do right now. You know, so when I was starting out, I was really scared of cameras and didn't know how to use them and found them very frightening and didn't want to plug things in. I was really overwhelmed by it. So I didn't. I worked with found footage and I did a lot of editing and I found editing really fun. So it's like figuring out, it's okay when you're starting out to like let some of your insecurities be some of those limiting factors. It's like not like you have to accomplish everything right away. It's a collaborative exercise. So over time you can like learn things you want to learn and build up a team around you to kind of like make up for the things that you're not so good at. You don't have to be good at everything.
That's great. Yeah, so pressure off.
Pressure off. Yeah, do the thing that you think is the most fun.
That's great. What was the gateway drug film that you saw that got you hooked on making documentaries?
As the gift shop? For
the
sure.
Banksy film.
100%.
Tell me why.
I saw it on Netflix, which is like, you know, it had come out at Sundance, but I wasn't like in the film world, you know, like I saw it on Netflix like a normal person. And back then, Netflix still had user reviews or like comments. Like it doesn't have that anymore. I really miss this. It was so much cooler when you could like see all these comments. And I thought this movie blew my mind. I was like, wait, I was so like blown away by it and I was so taken in by like the twistiness of it and like the sort of deception in it. And I was like, did any of this even happen? Like, did Banksy like cast an actor as Mr. Brainwash? I was just like so excited and thrilled by like the frisson of not knowing what was true in it.
Right.
But then I read the user reviews and it was like everyone loved it. Like everyone gave it 5 stars, but like 99% of the reviews were like cool, funny street art movie. And I was like, oh, like you could make a movie where like the weird 1% people who would like listen to a documentary podcast would be like really interested in it in terms of its craft and its like meta narrative, documentary ethics, playful, you know, what's true, what's not. And then that 99% of the audience could just be like, I enjoyed it. It was funny. Mr. Brainwash was funny. Yeah. I love street art. Street art is cool. Right. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like that. It's exactly what I want to do. Right. Like that's exactly what I didn't even know you could do that.
Appeal to like the high end.
Yeah. Because I had seen like Agnes Varda, Werner Herzog, like Errol Morris. I loved those were all of my favorite filmmakers when I was around that age when I was starting out. Yeah. But I never thought like, oh, that my mom would like these movies. Right. But Exit was the first movie where I was like, I feel like I could show this movie to anybody and they would enjoy it and they would have fun and be entertained and get something from it. And then there's so much more to it that's there if you want it. That's what I want to do.
Wow. I think you've done that.
Thanks.
I do.
That's seriously all I want to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's particularly with something like Hail Satan, which has like, it's just so fun on one level and kind of pranky and interesting.
Yeah, like a sitcom or something.
Yeah, like you've never met these people and you like find them so endearing. But then on the other hand, you can really like start to peel back the layers of what that means.
What is a religion? You're like, what if this is a real religion? And some religions could be based on joking. Exactly. And like, what about Christian nationalism? Right. Again, you can kind of let that wash over you, but it's there if you want it.
It's there if you want it. Like cool dad stuff. You can get deep if you want, or you can just keep it on the surface.
That's my hope.
Last question. What is the thing that you can't stop thinking about right now that is not film related?
It's not film related. I love that. Thank you. I'm like out of practice because I've been doing too much film talk lately. Something I'm obsessed with that's not film related is the question of how many people on the internet that are commenting are not real people.
Oh.
So like the idea of like this kind of internet where bots are talking to bots and like it's all kind of fake, and that's really messing with my head a lot. So I've been trying to research and learn more about the information. I feel like the information ecosystem is really polluted, and I think it's polluted in ways that are deeper than I can even fathom, and I'm trying to understand that better.
Interesting.
Yeah, I get the sense that a lot of the things we see on the internet are not actually like people.
Yeah.
Saying.
Well, you read about that elections are being swayed,
Yeah.
and like there's whole divisions of militaries.
Basically the question is like, how real is the internet?
Right.
Is kind of what I'm getting at.
The next Penny Lane.
Yeah,
film.
no, hopefully not a film. God. I need a break.
This has been so fun. Thank you,
Ben.
for
Thanks for
inviting
coming. Sorry
me
we didn't get
into
to
your
walk.
apartment.
I know walking is more fun, but you know.
Walking is
it's
more
raining.
fun. Can we, next time you come to Austin, can we go for a walk?
Yes, we will go for a walk as soon as we can.
And we'll include Keith.
Yes, and we'll go birding.
Oh, don't stop. All right. Thank you, Penny.
Thanks, Ben.
Next time on Doc Walks, Keith walks solo with Gene Gallerano. Gene made a splash with his new short documentary, Thank You for Listening, which is a documentary following Texas country musician Joshua Ray Walker as he confronts cancer while pursuing his artistic ambitions. This project was backed by our friends at the Nonfiction Hot List. It was put out by Texas Monthly. And in addition, Gene is an actor, an executive producer, and he's been involved in some of the very best films of the last decade. So you're not going to want to miss the next episode of Doc Walks.
Doc Walks is created, produced, and edited by my friend Ben Steinbauer of The Bear.
Hello. And my friend Keith Maitland of Go Valley. With help from our co-producer Dayton Thompson and editing by Riley Church. Follow us at Doc Walks Pod on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn.